This will be suspended garage floor. Suspended concrete slab. Perimeter is supported with a ledger block. And then I have the design called for 3 beams. One there, one there, and one there. And they span all the way across. And that top of my I-beam needs to be flush with the top of my ledger board, so my decking can run flush over the ledger and the I-beam. And so I'll show you how I'm building out pockets to support the I-beam, to give it a ledge 8 inches below this surface, because my I-beams are 8 inches. I'll show you how I did that. Okay, so I have them all cut in. I still have the faces to put on, but I left them open so I could tie all my rebar in and my stirrups. So I made some double stirrup in there, and then I attached them with some horizontal wrench pieces. Tied it in. Hopefully that's going to be good enough, and the structural inspector will like it. If not, I'm going to mount a piece of steel plate back there, and then the I-beam that comes into there, I have a chance to weld it on. So I have that bottom bearing, and I can connect it with a weld connection. So here's the look of all the pockets. These ones are a little bit deeper. These two are 8-inch deep I-beams, and this is a 10-inch deep. They're H-beams. I just found them at a salvage yard, so I couldn't find them all the same, but this one's going to be super strong. I decided to put the heavier one, the deeper one, at the front, so when my cars come in, I thought maybe that would be the heavier part. Maybe that would be the heavier part, because that's where the engines are. Anyway, it's there. Okay, we're back here forming up these beam rests. Just for a backup and for extra strength, I'm going to embed steel plates in them. So if I need to, the I-beams that come in this way, it sits like this in the wall, up in behind those vertical 2x10s. You can see that one I bolted in from the back side. That one's done too. So I'm going to go and do that one. I'm going to drill holes in, take that off, attach this to the back side of that 2x12, and then mount the 2x back on to the wall. And I welded these in the shop today. I bent them, I think. I did some research and I found some ones that were the same size, but they only had 4 pillars. And they had outrageous pound shear force. So I think mine they're uglier, but they're, I think, overdone. The ones that they did some test on were from the University of Alberta, and they didn't have L's in any of theirs. There was just straight pegs with a thicker head at the end, like a bolt. So I think that the L's, especially some of these big L's, I didn't cut any of the rebar. I just took some scrap that I had and measured up 4 inches and then bent it at a 90. Anyway, I'll put those on and we'll see what the engineer thinks. Okay, here's one mounted to the I-beam. I'm sorry, it's not an I-beam. Mounted to that 2x. It's gonna get flung around. Oh, did I do that one right? Yeah, I had 1 inch at the top and 2 at the bottom. So I'm gonna have to feed this one in because of that gnarly L. Doesn't hit that rebar, and it does, so I'm gonna have to reach in here, bend that vertical bar up just a hair. There we go. Okay, it's nice and flush. This rebar in there was in the way. I had to lift it up just a bit. Those L's to make it over. I'm gonna flush the back side of this with the back side of this. Then I'm gonna tap the screws of the concrete that comes in behind here. Doesn't force this piece of wood out, and then I would have an angle for the I-beam to come up and meet it. I don't want that. I want it to be a flush level plane, so I don't have to trim my okay, I'm gonna drill these in. Here and here, I do have to come back and get some plywood, box this off. It's not a huge space, but still, it's gonna get filled. This one is pretty good. I would put a piece of plywood in anyway, so there's no chance of blowing that way. So yeah, this is the bigger pocket. It comes out 12 inches. Those other ones came out only 6. I think I already mentioned it. The reason is because I have 2 that are going to be able to be cut to be the full length, and then I bought one that's 18 inches short. So this one I had to build a much larger ledge, so it'll come to about here, but I am going to weld on quite a big flange, an L flange, probably double, so it comes out and meets that I-beam's flange. I'll show you. Okay, I'll give you a closer, a little bit more in depth about these things. So the study, I'll link the study in the video, had 3/8 steel plate, and I can't remember how thick their rods were, but I have 5/8 rod, which is plenty thick. I think their rods were actually smaller, thicker than their plate. I've welded them with MIG on the hottest setting so I could get good penetration. And then I attached these temporary 1/4 inch bolts, and they're only to hold onto the wood until the concrete is bonded to the rebar. And then once I take the forms off, I will cut these little 1/4 inch things off with my angle grinder. But all I did is I cut these out on the plasma cutter on just some scrap 3/8 that I had, and then I had a bunch of 5/8 bar kicking around from putting in the walls. So I think they're quite ugly, but boy, I think they're gonna be strong. Okay, so we got this poured a couple days ago. I'm starting to strip it down. This is what my brick ledge looks like, and again, this is what my garage slab is going to rest on. Pour went well, didn't have any blowouts. I'm just starting to peel back this I-beam support. I thought I pulled out the screws. I thought I'd show you guys how it looks. So that's good. Top looks great. Still has, this is 3 days old, so I'm not going to put a lot of weight on it. I don't want to. It's still pretty green. Dang, looks cool. Now remember, we have a steel plate behind here. I'm hoping that I can take this piece of wood off without pulling out that I don't know how I would pull that out. I don't remember how many pieces of rebar I had in there. Okay, here we go. We got somewhere. Dang, that is so fine. I don't think it's level, but again, that's okay. I left about a 1/2 inch from the top of here down. I need a total of, for this one, 10 inches, and I believe from down there to there, I formed it at 10.5, knowing I was going to shim it up, and so I'm okay with that. That looks nice. Vibrated it really good, and we came around and hit and tapped these. There's a little bit of air pocket right here, but I'm okay with this. There's no aggregate visible. I'm not worried about that. Dang, that looks cool. Kind of looks funny. Just a big chunk of concrete sticking out the wall. Those ones are smaller, remember? And I ended up not needing this distance because I bought some more I-beam material to weld on to increase the length of this one. So it's going to be full length all the way. I don't need this full length. I really only needed 3 inches. It's hard prying up against ICF. You don't really get a whole lot of good pry. Just buckles on you. That's good. Come on now. Okay. And there's the steel plate. It worked. That thing's embedded in there. I'll have to clean it out. But these just get knocked off. Grind that flat. And the I-beam gets welded onto that steel plate. That is golden. Okay, I'm gonna go around and strip the rest of these puppies.